Hi everyone, my name is Emily and I'm an exercise physiologist here at Mary Washington's Cardiopulmonary Rehab, and today we are going to be going over benefits of exercise. The objectives are to understand the components of exercise and how it affects the body, especially your heart, and how to make exercise a regular part of your day. The benefits of exercise. One being decreased heart's need for oxygen. It increases the heart's efficiency so that it doesn't have to work as hard to pump out blood to the body. It also strengthens the heart muscle. More strength means more blood's being pushed to the body in fewer beats, therefore reducing your heart rate. It also helps to regulate your triglyceride and cholesterol levels. Your triglycerides are the sugars used for energy in the muscles. Your other cholesterols are your HDL, which is your good cholesterol, and your LDL, which is bad cholesterol. Too much of this causes plaque buildup in the arteries, which can cause blockages. Exercise helps keep all of those things regulated. It also helps to lower blood pressure. Ideal blood pressure is your top number, or systolic, of 120, and your lower, or diastolic, number of 80 or lower. Exercise helps vessels to dilate, giving the blood room to flow with less resistance, therefore lowering blood pressure. Some other benefits to exercise includes that it stimulates angiogenesis, this being the natural process of new blood vessels forming from existing ones. This helps to deliver oxygen and nutrients more efficiently throughout your body. It also reduces plaque buildup, as I mentioned in the last slide, which helps to prevent atherosclerosis, which is the plaque buildup inside your arteries that hardens over time, causing the arteries to narrow, limiting the flow of oxygen-rich blood to your body. This helps keep blood vessels free of clots. Exercise also helps those with heart failure to reduce hospital visits and live longer. Those with heart failure usually have an ejection fraction of 40% or less, this being the heart's pumping efficiency. Exercise can help to increase that so that the heart is pumping blood as needed to the rest of the body. Indirect benefits of exercise. It can help to control things like diabetes, stress, anxiety, and obesity, and it has been proven to help reduce things like chronic low back pain, multiple forms of cancer, some including colon, endometrial, and breast, constipation, general fatigue, low sex drive, osteoporosis, and hemorrhoids. Now, what does exercise consist of? Well, the key components of an exercise program should include frequency, intensity, time, type, volume, and progression. Frequency, it should be performed 3 to 5 days per week. Intensity, performed so that you reach your target heart rate, which I will explain that later on. Time, maintain target heart rate range for 30 to 45 minutes per day. Type, choose activities you enjoy. Volume, amount of exercise in a session. And progression, program becomes more challenging over time. This adds up to about 150 to 200 minutes per week. And your volume also is the amount of reps and sets, or sets and distance. And the progression, increasing frequency, intensity, time, and or volume as you go. Those components will be your warm-up, which gradually increases your heart rate, and that's what you start with. And then you have your workout, staying within your target heart rate range, and then your cool down, gradually decreasing your heart rate. The importance of a warm-up and cool down. Your warm-up helps to increase core body temperature. It increases flexibility, so things like your tendons, muscles, and ligaments can become looser, and it decreases risk of musculoskeletal injury. With the warm-up, it should consist of things like stretching and or a brisk walk. With your cool down, it allows the heart rate to decrease slowly and prevents pooling of blood in the heart. The cool down should be a slowed down, more leisurely paced walk, still moving in some capacity and not just completely stopping. Now for the important part, the workout. For the workout, your heart rate should be within your target heart rate, and I'll go over what a target heart rate is later on in the slides. It should also increase your breathing rate, meaning you're breathing faster or taking more breaths. and it should be some type of aerobic or cardio exercise. That means using big muscle groups in a rhythmic, continuous motion. Now, I know when we ask patients what kind of exercise they're doing, they say playing golf or chasing grandkids, kids, pets, doing yard work or housework, and that's all great activity. But we like for people to be able to set aside dedicated exercise time, as well as being active in day-to-day life. Types of aerobic exercise include walking, running, biking, swimming, rowing, and dancing. And of course, always choose something you enjoy doing. You will also see here on the right of the screen the scale of perceived exertion. We use that to help us know how hard it is you might be working and if you're at an appropriate level of exercise. 6 and 7 on the scale are basically no exertion at all. It's equivalent to sitting down or laying down. 8, 9, and 10 is around the same as walking through the grocery store or light activity. 11 to 14 is typically where we want people when they're exercising. With exercise and activity, especially in cardiac rehab, we like to use METs, or metabolic equivalent of task. This helps to tell us how hard you are working while exercising or performing an activity. 1 MET equals the measure of energy it costs to complete a specific task. Each 1 MET increase throughout the program reduces cardiovascular mortality by 10% and all-cause mortality by 25%. Each increase of 104 feet during a 6-minute walk test decreases heart attacks and all-cause mortality by 47% and 55%. Attending 1 rehab session decreases the risk of death by 14%. Rehab participation reduces hospital readmissions by 1/3, and a full 36-session rehab cycle is found to decrease death by 20 to 30%. This being said, the higher your MET value equals the stronger your heart is and the more it's able to do. Now for the do's and don'ts. General exercise guidelines. Do get your doctor's okay to exercise, especially after a cardiac event. You can use exercise to reduce stress and anxiety. Make sure you stretch and add some strength training. Exercises you enjoy or can learn to enjoy. Make sure to hydrate and start slow and build up to longer workouts. Another good reminder is to have proper ID on you or your cell phone nearby just to be safe. And always listen to your body. Stop exercising with any symptoms you might have. Now for the don'ts. Don't exercise if it causes chest pain, dizziness, lightheadedness, or extreme shortness of breath. Don't exercise right after eating. Don't exercise when you don't feel well or in extreme temperatures. And don't exercise after consuming alcohol or caffeine. As I mentioned in the previous slide, it is important to incorporate strength training into your exercise program. It should be done 2 to 3 times per week at the intensity of being able to perform 10 to 12 reps. In those 10 to 12 reps, achieving muscular fatigue at the end of the set. It is suggested you do at least 1 set, if not 2, and it should be done for around 20 to 30 minutes. When you're doing strength training, make sure to condition all major muscle groups, including your arms, legs, shoulders, and core. This resistance training will slow and reduce decline in muscle mass, if not increase your muscle mass. When lifting, you shouldn't feel pain, but muscle soreness is normal the next day. Now to finally explain what your target heart rate means. Your target heart rate is the range your heart rate should be within during exercise to receive optimal aerobic benefits. This means your heart isn't overworking and it's not underworking. It's getting just the right workout. This range typically is between 60 to 80% of your age predicted maximal heart rate. Each individual age has an age predicted maximal heart rate. That being 220 minus your age gives you your maximum heart rate. On your first day of cardiac rehab, you will complete a treadmill stress test or a walk test to determine this range. And we will do that based on calculations using data received from said test. A way to estimate your target heart rate on your own is seen below. For your lower limit, you would take 220 minus your age, Then take that number and times it by 0.6, and that gives you the lower limit of your target heart rate. Upper limit, 220 minus your age, then take that number and times it by 0.8. That gives you the upper limit. Note that this method can be inaccurate in some cases, one being if you are on beta blockers, as beta blockers are meant to slow your heart rate, which lowers resting heart rate and maximum heart rates by 10 to 20 beats per minute. It is better to go by the target heart rate provided to you by an exercise physiologist on the rehab staff. Monitoring your heart rate. Just like we monitor your heart rate here in cardiac rehab while you're exercising, we like for patients to do it on their own as well. Monitoring your heart rate during exercise helps to track the intensity of your workout. Heart rate, or your pulse, equals the number of times the heart beats per minute. When you're at home exercising, you can use a smartwatch, a pulse oximeter as shown below, or manually check your heart rate by using the pulse of your radial artery or your carotid artery. The radial artery being your wrist and your carotid artery being in your neck. Taking your pulse or manually checking your heart rate. Step 1, if you're using the wrist or the radial artery, press your index finger and middle fingers just below the base of the thumb, right about here. Or on your neck or carotid artery, place those same two fingers just below your jawbone, so just about here. Make sure you can feel your pulse or the thumps that are there. When you feel those, count the number of beats or thumps you feel in 15 seconds. Then you'll multiply that by 4. The number you get from that is your beats per minute or your heart rate. Exercise and diabetes. Exercise has been shown to increase sensitivity to insulin. When exercising, it helps to clear glucose from the bloodstream, reducing the amount of insulin needed to manage blood sugar levels. Diabetics are encouraged to exercise at least 30 minutes a day, most days of the week. Before starting an exercise plan, consult a physician, know when not to exercise, and test glucose levels before and after exercise. When not to exercise as a diabetic would be when blood sugar levels are below 90, or for fasting above 250, non-fasting above 300. Exercise can cause a drop in blood sugar, so make sure you pay attention, especially to how you feel throughout your exercise. Exercising with a pulmonary disease. There are many things you can do at home, like walking, stationary bike, hand weights, elastic bands, chair yoga, stretches, balance exercises, and swimming or water aerobics. Be sure that when you are exercising at home that you are using inhalers or oxygen as ordered and as needed. There are also online programs and videos you can follow. We do suggest you also use pursed lip breathing to help control your shortness of breath, so breathing in through your nose and out through pursed lips. Be sure to push yourself but not overexert yourself. And as mentioned in previous slides, always pay attention to how you feel and monitor your pulmonary symptoms and oxygen saturation using a pulse oximeter. When resuming exercise after an illness or exacerbation, always listen to your body. You will likely need to build your endurance back up. Remember to take it slow. Here are just a couple examples of exercises you can do at home. One being walking. We suggest walking for 3 to 6 minutes, stopping to catch your breath as necessary. And the longer you walk, the better. We suggest doing this 1 to 3 times per day. Then after a week, add 1 minute every 1 to 2 weeks. Another one is weights. Start low weight and high reps. For example, 1 to 3 pounds for 10 to 12 reps. However, some patients may need to start with just body weight exercises if you cannot keep proper form. If you've never done hand weights at home, ask us for instruction and a handout for you to take home. Hand weights can often be expensive, and you can avoid this cost by using canned foods or items from around the house that have a small amount of weight to them. Be sure to watch the pulmonary education for additional information, and if you have any questions, please see one of our respiratory therapists or exercise physiologists for help. What is cardiac rehab? Cardiac rehab focuses on both exercise and education. You'll work with trained professionals, multidisciplinary, meaning you'll be working with nurses, exercise physiologists, and respiratory therapists. You will have the support of both the staff and other patients in the program. You'll have an individualized exercise prescription, and you will make and reach personal goals and learn appropriate exercise parameters in a safe environment. The benefits of cardiac rehab. It is better chances of avoiding disability. It improves chances of returning to work and/or returning to work quicker. It improves physical function and strength. It can give relief from depression, anxiety, and fear. That fear being maybe fear of exercising on your own or unmonitored. It can lessen chest pain, help with weight loss, and control risk factors like high blood pressure and cholesterol. Have a plan. Before you finish rehab, have a plan for once you're done and on your own, which any one of the staff can help you do. Continue exercising in a set routine most days. Maybe join a gym, an exercise group, or our Phase 3 program. Find ways to stay active throughout daily life and keep adding new goals so you have things to work towards. Maybe find new forms of exercise you may enjoy when you get bored with your usual routine. Other tips: choose to take the stairs, choose the farther parking spots, walk when you can, and choose hobbies that require movement. Either way, stay active. With that, let's get moving. Whether in rehab or at home, try to exercise most days, make sure you listen to your body, and most of all, have fun.